The Detroit Pistons have now won 10 straight. They are 12-2 on the season. They're currently being led by Jalen Duren, along with an unlikely sidekick along his side.
You are Locked On Pistons, your daily Detroit Pistons podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's the deal? Welcome back to another episode of the Locked On Pistons podcast. Per usual, I'm your host, Khahil. I want to thank you guys for making Locked On Pistons your first listen of every single day. We are free and available on all your podcast platforms. If you haven't already, head to the YouTube channel at Locked On Pistons. Hit that subscribe button or leave us a 5-star review on whatever podcast platform you're listening to us on. And again, Locked On Pistons is a part of the Locked On Podcast Network, which you guys have helped make the #1 sports podcast network in America. Appreciate all of you guys' support. Today, we'll continue to talk about Daniss Jenkins continuing his insane run that he's had. He continued it in this game against the Indiana Pacers. And also, I want to talk about whether they can actually hit 11 straight games in their game tomorrow against the Atlanta Hawks. But obviously, we are going to start with their win against the Indiana Pacers and talk about just how dominant Jalen Durren was. I want to start, before we even get into any of that, I want to let you guys know, I am in a lot of pain with my ear, so if you guys are wondering, why aren't you yelling? Why aren't you, super loud? You're not like freaking out. It's because my ear is really making it tough to talk. So I'm going to power through it for you guys, but that's why you may not hear me like screaming and all that stuff, whatever, being loud, whatever. I'm sure some of you guys like it, prefer me to be not as loud as maybe sometimes I can be on the podcast. But let's go ahead and get into this. The Pistons win this game against the Indiana Pacers by a score of 112-127. They dominated throughout this game. They controlled this game really from start to finish. The only time where it looked like it was maybe going to get close was the beginning of the fourth quarter when Mathurin hit back-to-back threes and then was fouled on another three, and then hit a three right after that to try and make it a game, cut it to 8 points, but then the Pistons were able to extend it and kind of hold off all of that. And really, again, like I said, just dominated this game. And in this game, they were playing without, again, Cade Cunningham. They were without Ausar still. They were without Tobias still. Marcus Sasser, Jaden Ivey. They were without all of these guys. Now, I expect Cade and Ausar to be back tomorrow against the Hawks. I think that's why they didn't play today. I think they'll play on the back end of the back-to-back. But we will see. That's what just I'm assuming here. But despite that, it didn't matter. The Pistons dominated this game, and they were led by their young big man in Jalen Duren. He had 31 points and 15 rebounds, and he missed one shot. He missed the type of efficiency that Jalen Duren is having on these high-scoring nights. He's missing 1, 2, 3 shots at the most. He's shooting incredible from the field. If he's going to try to score, it's either free throws or a score. It's incredibly efficient. And by the way, he did this in just 28 minutes of action. We saw him just put his entire skill set on display in this game. I watched him give a player an Allen Iverson signature size up at the top of the key and pull up off a live dribble, off a double behind the back from almost the three-point line, just inside the three-point line, above the free throw line, and drain it. I watched him go to a dribble drive to his right, fake spin, and then post fade, hit it. I watched him get an offensive rebound, then fade off of that, hit it. I watched him drive to the basket and finish with his left hand, hit it. I watched him catch a ball on the run and do a double clutch and then finish with his left hand on the other side of the rim, hit it. Like, you saw everything that he's developed and has improved upon, and everything he has in his offensive repertoire in this game. And you also saw him. It took 14 years, everybody. But he finally someone got payback for what DeAndre Jordan did to Brandon Knight. Because Jalen Duren gave the exact type of dunk. That dunk will be #1 on SportsCenter. He did the exact same thing that DeAndre Jordan did to Brandon Knight. He did the exact same thing to Benedict Mathurin. So it took 14 years for the Pistons to finally get a highlight worthy of it and to get payback on someone else outside of Pistons jersey. But Jalen Duren made it happen. So he was absolutely, utterly fantastic in this game. But over his last 5 games, and really the entire year, he's been fantastic. But I just want to focus real quickly on his last 5 games. It's video game numbers. Last 5 games, he's averaging 25 points a game, nearly 16 rebounds a game, 1.4 steals, and he has a true shooting percentage of 75.9% while getting to the free throw line 8.2 times per game and shooting 70% of those free throws, shooting 74% from the field. These are video game type numbers. What Jaylen Durren is doing right now is worthy of an absolute max extension. And the longer he continues to do this, the longer he continues to do this, the closer we're going to get to having to talk about him being an all-star this year. And the longer he continues to do it after that, we'll start to have even bigger talks about what he's doing this year. Because we're not there yet. It's an incredibly small sample size still. We're not large enough sample size to get to that point yet. But man, I think he got most improved player of the year locked up. If he plays like this the rest of the year, I think he has it locked up. I don't see how anyone else could take it from him. He looks absolutely elite. There's no other way to put it. And I understand there are some people, and it's not completely out of nowhere. But there are some people that will say he is beating up on teams that don't have a match for him. He's beating up on banged up teams. I think you can have two of the same thoughts. You can have the thought of, okay, he's doing this against teams that maybe aren't the healthiest or don't have the best, matchup for him. And then you can also say in the same breath, he wouldn't have dominated them like this last year. And then he didn't look like this last year. And he's showing things in his game this year that will translate to games. It doesn't matter who was in front of him. He's doing things that will translate. So I'm not saying that Jalen Duren's the perfect basketball player. He still is improving. He's just 21 years old and putting up these numbers. It's absolutely ridiculous. And I think seeing him against some quality competition and against a really good team, I think would be great. It would be a great measuring stick, not just for Jalen Duren, but for the rest of the team. If there's going to be people out there that have, qualms about, okay, was what Jalen Duren doing realistic once he goes against good teams or goes against like a great big or whatever, then you better have like the same thoughts for literally everyone else on the roster. Because the last 5 games of what the Pistons have done, it feels like it's been unrealistic, or maybe not unrealistic, just unfathomable what they've done really over the last few games. So if you have those kind of thoughts for Duren, you better have it for everyone on the roster. Because this has been an improbable run the Pistons are on. I think what Jalen Duren is doing will translate. I think what Jalen Duren's doing is insane improvement from him. I think you're seeing him reach another, just maybe 2 levels above where he was last year on the offensive end of the floor. And that's the Pistons having a guy in Cade that can be your primary scoring option and your engine. And then to have another guy at your 5 position that is scoring 20 points a night and dominating the glass, and not just scoring. He can not just scoring on lob threats. He can get the lobs. He can get the dump offs. He dominate there too. But he's also creating for himself. He's hitting pull-ups. He's driving to the rim, drawing free throws and hitting great percentage on them. He's driving to the rim and dunking on people. He's driving to the rim and giving them that's just insanely unique, and he is playing extraordinary. Absolutely extraordinary. Last 5 game numbers are just video game type numbers, man. I saw that Daniss Jenkins was nominated for Player of the Week. If Jalen Duren's 5 games all came in the same week, he would have been Player of the Week. And because we brought it up so much last year, and we will go to this more often as the year goes on, we get a bigger sample size, but I'm going to bring it up now. We are seeing a trend that is for the first time in Jalen Duren's career. We have never seen this happen before. This is the first time it's happened. The Pistons are vastly better with him on the floor. In 319 minutes with Jalen Duren on the floor, they are outscoring their opponents by 10 points per 100 possessions. When he's off the floor, they're only winning the minutes by 1.6 points per 100 possessions, which means they are nearly 9 points better now on-off with Jalen Duren on the floor. It's the first time of his career when it's been this way. All of the numbers are pointing to Jalen Duren having an absolutely extraordinary season. And if he keeps playing like this, he will be an all-star. He will get a max extension. And who knows where the Pistons can go if they're going to get this type of elite play from their 21-year-old big man. I mean, it's just ridiculous what he's doing. It's absolutely ridiculous. Coming up, though, we'll go to who was his sidekick tonight, has been the main focal point in other games lately, has been the main superhero in other games lately, and either way, in either position, it's an unlikely name. And that is Daniss Jenkins, who continues to have a great run. If you're a business owner, here's the truth. SaaS promised to make work easier, but now the average company is buried by hundreds of apps that slow down your teams and simply don't work together. That's not SaaS, that's sad. Software as a disservice, and that's why you need Rippling. Rippling is the unified platform for global HR, payroll, IT, and finance, all in one place. They've helped millions of businesses replace a mess of disconnected tools with one system designed to give leaders clarity, speed, and control. Whether you want to run your entire HR, IT, and finance operations as one, or just fill the gaps in your software stack, Rippling can do it all. And right now, you can get 6 months free when you go to rippling.com/LockedOnNBA. Learn more at rippling.com/LockedOnNBA. That's rippling.com/LockedOnNBA for 6 months free with Rippling. Then I got to tell you guys about another one of our sponsors, PrizePicks. This episode is brought to you by PrizePicks. You and I make decisions every day, but on PrizePicks, being right can get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement of this sports season. Whether you're following the NFL, NBA, or both, there's no better time to jump in on the action. If you haven't tried it yet, PrizePicks is the simplest way to play. Just pick more or less on at least 2 player stats, and if you get them right, you win. It takes less than 60 seconds to make your lineup. You can play anywhere PrizePicks operates, including California, Texas, and Georgia. The new stacks feature is a game changer. You can now pick more on steps, points, threes, and assists in the same lineup. Plus, if your player leaves early with an injury, the injury reboot saves your lineup from a loss. Download the PrizePicks app today and use code LOCKEDONNBA to get $50 off, or $50 in lineups, after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONNBA for $50 in lineups after your first $5 lineup. That's what PrizePicks. It's good to be right. So I want to thank you guys again for making Locked On Pistons your first listen of every single day. We are free and available on all your podcast platforms. If you haven't already, head to the YouTube channel at Locked On Pistons. Hit that subscribe button or leave us a 5-star review on whatever podcast platform you're listening to this on. That's another great way to support the podcast. This is another game in which you just have so many unlikely heroes, so many unlikely leaders, that if I told you before the year that these were the leaders, you would have told me, and with the guys that were out, you would tell me that you think that they probably are hovering around 500, maybe even below 500. No one would have expected this. But in game 14, the Pistons' leading scorers were Jalen Duren with 31, Daniss Jenkins, a two-way guy who was undrafted, with 26, and Javonte Green with 20 points, a guy that a lot of people thought wouldn't even be in the rotation to start the season. Those were your 3 leading scorers, all scoring 20-plus points in this game. And we've given Javonte Green all the credit in the world. I just want to give him even more credit before we get into Daniss and how he's played. Javonte just is an absolute energy bunny on the defensive end of the floor, and he finds ways to just put the ball in the basket as an off-ball player, whether it's cutting, whether it's on an offensive rebound, whether it's getting a steal and finishing at the rim. He had a few plays on defense tonight that I really liked. The Pistons turned the ball over in one possession, and the Pacers thought they had an easy fast break opportunity, and here comes Javonte Green out of nowhere, chasing down from behind and just pokes the ball out from behind. Now the Pistons end up on a fast break, and I believe Ron Holland ends up finishing with a layup. His energy is just infectious, and he goes 100% nonstop. His defense has been impactful for the Pistons, and what he's able to bring them offensively as a cutter, as a slasher, as a finisher around the rim, drawing free throws. He got to the free throw line 5 times tonight. It's just an unlikely hero, and he's absolutely dominating in his role. He's dominating the role that he was given. And there was a nickname I saw some fans calling him, and I thought it was absolutely hilarious. They're calling him Swisher Sweets, and I think that's hilarious. I would laugh, but my ear is killing me. But I thought that was a funny nickname. Either way, Javonte is playing absolutely tremendous as another unlikely hero. But Daniss Jenkins, man, coming into this game tonight, Daniss Jenkins was averaging 20 points and 7 assists over his last 3 games. He was nominated for Player of the Week. He's not going to win it, but he was nominated for it. This is a two-way player. This is a guy who doesn't even have an NBA standard contract. This is a guy who before the year didn't know if he was going to play any NBA minutes this year. And a guy that really wasn't going to play any minutes this year if it wasn't for injuries. But now he finds himself playing many minutes a game for the Detroit Pistons. And absolutely, again, another player that is dominating in his role. Dominating in his role. And I have reached the point now where I don't know if I said this in the last podcast, but I'm definitely saying it now. He has reached the point to where his rotation spot is secure. When everyone gets back healthy, he is getting minutes. You can figure everything else out. Daniss Jenkins is going to get minutes. He is going to be a part of the rotation. What he is doing is unbelievable. In this game, 26 points, 8 assists on 11 of 21 shooting, and a team high plus 23. This is while giving full-on effort defensively. This is while having 2 key offensive rebounds that I just love seeing these guys, these guards, these wings, come out of nowhere, crashing the glass and getting these offensive rebounds and giving the Pistons extra possessions. The Pistons are dominating the possession war, and that's really contributing to them winning the game at the end of the day. You got Ron Holland with the offensive rebound. You got Duncan Robinson with one. You got Daniss Jenkins with 2. You got Chaz with 1 off the bench. You got Karras with 1. You got everybody just hustling on the glass, man. I absolutely love seeing it. But Daniss, he plays with a level of confidence and with no fear. With no fear. He started the game up 6 of 15, which, one, isn't a great shooting night, but the fact that he's taking up 15 shots that quickly in the first 3 quarters and feeling confident enough to do so and playing his game says a lot. And then he finished the game 5 of 6 and ended up having a good shooting night. To have the confidence as a two-way player to take 21 shots, to start off 6 of 15, and then still have the confidence to keep going and end up pushing through it and having a good shooting night, it just showcases what he's about. He's a confident shooter. He's creating space for these mid-range jumpers. He's very quick and strong at the basket. That pops off the screen. And I was at the game, so it wasn't on the screen, but pops off the court, I guess. When you watch him on his drives, he plays very strong, and he's very creative, I would say, with some of his finishes. He had a wrong foot floater in the paint in the fourth quarter in this game. He had another one he finished with a right-hand scoop shot on the left side of the back, on the left side of the rim. He's very creative with his drives and with his finishes around the rim. And if he got someone that's smaller than him, he just overpowers them and finishes over them. He's a very strong dude. A very strong dude. He has nice touch. He had a few shots that hit every part of the rim that really showcased his touch in the mid-range area. Like, no joke, I think he had 3 pull-ups that hit multiple parts of the rim and ended up falling. This showcases some really good touch. And again, like I said earlier, like one of the things I really like about Daniss is that he's giving this output offensively, but it's not impacting what he's doing defensively at all. He's impacting the game defensively. He is a dog at the point of attack. He is giving his all on every defensive possession. And I think what Pistons fans are going to love about him the most, and already love about him, is he's just another player that has that dog in him. He picked up a T tonight for taunting. He trash talks the entire night. And this is a two-way guy. This is not a guy who everybody in the league knows. I guarantee you half the league doesn't even know who he is. But this is a guy who's going on the court trash talking whoever's in front of him. Doesn't matter. He's going to go out there and he's going to bust your you-know-what. And he's going to let you know why he's doing it. And if you don't know who he is, that's fine. You'll know who I am by the end of this game. I love that mentality. Over the last 4 games for Daniss Jenkins, last 4 games, if the stats will load up for me here, he's averaging 21.8 points, 7.8 assists on 57 true shooting, 47% from deep, 87% from the free throw line, with 2 steals a game. The Pistons are 4-0 in these games. This is the most shocking development of the season, how well Daniss Jenkins is playing, and the fact that he is playing so well in the absence of Cade, Ausar, Jaden Ivey, all these guys, Tobias Harris, that it's not mattering. He's playing so well, along with obviously the rest of the vets, like we talked about the last episode, and Jalen Duren. It doesn't matter that they're missing those guys because this guy is playing exceptional. Now, I want to read you guys the rules before we move on with the two-way contract. So you guys understand. I'm going to go through all the rules here so you guys understand what they're dealing with when it comes to Daniss. So obviously, a player for a two-way has to have fewer than 4 years of NBA experience. He can be on the active list for a maximum of 50 games with the team. He has so far played 6, 7, 8, 9. He's played 9 games so far. He can play at the maximum of 50 games while he's on this two-way contract. Two-way players are not eligible for the playoffs unless they're converted to a standard deal. So he wouldn't be able to play in the playoffs if he's on a two-way contract. A team can convert a two-way contract into an NBA standard contract, which would eliminate the 50-game rule and make the player playoff eligible. Once converted, the NBA would earn obviously an NBA salary. Players on two-way contracts can be traded, but not within 30 days of signing. And two-way contracts can be signed for 1 or 2 seasons, etc., etc. The real points that you need to be worried about there is that he can only play 50 games. And they can elevate him to a standard contract, but they're going to have to make some room. So if he continues to play this way, obviously there's 82 games in the season. He's already played 9. He only has 41 games left. If he keeps playing this way, you're not going to want him just for 41 games. You're going to want him for the rest of the year, which makes this very interesting for Trajan. Because I think you have to give him a standard contract. I think you absolutely have to. So now I'm interested in who loses their spot. Is it just Isaac Jones? But if you, again, we brought this up a few episodes ago, but if you get rid of Isaac Jones, waive him, and then you give Daniss that spot, that all the people that are hopeful about Malik Beasley, what would you then do when Malik Beasley, if Malik Beasley were to be cleared, what would you do at that point? Would you have just moved on from Malik Beasley? I'm interested to see what the play here is by Trajan, or does Trajan wait? Does he let him play out the 50 games in the two-way and then make a decision towards the end of the two-way contract so then he keeps it? I'm interested to see how Trajan plays it. Or does the fact that he's on a two-way contract only has 41 games left, does that impact whether they keep him in the rotation when everyone gets healthy? Do they keep him? Do they maybe not play him in certain games so they can keep games towards the end of the year? I don't know. I'm interested to see how they do this. Either way, though, he is playing absolutely extraordinary. He's leading the offense. The team is playing better with him on the floor over the last 4 games. He's been incredible as a driver to the rim. His three-point shot was a little bit off in this game, but he shot really well from beyond the arc overall during this stretch. And he is truly having a Jeremy Linsanity run. Like, this is what this is. This is a Linsanity run. A two-way undrafted guy coming up and playing how he's playing. That's what this is. This is crazy. Hopefully this sustains, and if it does, I think the Pistons have to give him a standard contract. But this is now 4 straight games. He's helping the Pistons, and one of the main reasons why the Pistons win a game and is contributing to a team. He isn't contributing to a lottery team. He's contributing to the number 1 team in the Eastern Conference. He's starting games for the number 1 team in the Eastern Conference and helping them win 10 straight games as a two-way player. This is extraordinary. It's an amazing story. I feel great for Daniss, and I hope he gets the standard contract because he absolutely deserves it. Let me know, comment section down below or over on Twitter at Khahil. How do you guys feel about how Daniss Jenkins has played? Do you believe that they should give him a standard contract? How do you think the Pistons will attack that entire situation with the roster decisions? Let me know all that. Comment section down below. But coming up, can the Detroit Pistons reach 11 straight games? They play the Atlanta Hawks tomorrow. We'll talk about it coming up. Your ambition just met its match with Robinhood. You play for the win, not just on game day, but every day. Locking on every opening and beating your PR and beating it again. Channel that drive into your money. Robinhood puts you in control of your money. Trade stocks, options, futures, and crypto all on one platform. You can now build and execute your own trades from a desktop with Robinhood's Legends advanced tools, or take advantage of the new Robinhood strategies with a tailored portfolio managed by a team of experts. You expect more from yourself, so expect more from your money. Get started today at Robinhood.com/yourmoney. Again, that's Robinhood.com/yourmoney, your money, your move with Robinhood. Now, I got to tell you guys about another one of our sponsors, Rugiet. Let's be real, making excuses doesn't solve anything. We've all heard them before. It's just stress. I'm tired, or it happens to everyone sometimes. But when it comes to performance, sometimes your body just needs a little extra support, and that's where Rugiet comes in. Rugiet.com offers fast-acting, doctor-prescribed treatments for ED designed to help you stop making excuses and start making moves. If prescribed, your treatment ships discreetly straight to your door. The process is fast, simple, and private, and it's all handled by real doctors. It's about confidence, connection, and getting back to the moments that matter. Visit rugiet.com/LockedInNBA to get 15% off your first order. That's rugiet.com/LockedInNBA. And don't forget to use our code LockedInNBA. Locked on NBA, so they know that we sent you. Rugiet, stop making excuses and start making moves with Rugiet. So I want to thank you guys again for making Locked On Pistons your first listen of every single day. We are free and available on all your podcast platforms. If you haven't already, head to the YouTube channel at Locked On Pistons. Hit that subscribe button or leave us a 5-star review on whatever podcast platform you're listening to this on. That's another great way to support the podcast. For those of you, and I've seen a few of you guys, and again, I'm going to say it again, I don't think people who feel this way are inherently wrong. I think you do have some reason to feel this way, even though I would say just to be optimistic, be positive, be happy about what's happening. I wouldn't necessarily look at it this way. But if someone wants to make this argument, I'm not going to sit here and say to them, you have no reason to believe this. Over these 10 games the Pistons have won, they've beaten Orlando, which is a good team. But outside of that, they've beaten Dallas without AD. They did beat Memphis, Utah, Brooklyn, Philly without Embiid, Washington, Chicago without Josh Giddey, then Philly again without Embiid, and then Indiana. Some people are saying the Pistons are taking advantage of a weak schedule. I respond to that with, winning 10 games in a row is hard for any team in the NBA. I don't care who you're going against. To have that kind of lock in and play that well to win 10 straight games is impressive no matter who you are playing against. So I reject that idea. However, I'm not going to sit here and act like people who are saying that are just lying. They're not lying. It's not like they haven't had the gauntlet. It's definitely been an easier stretch. But you see teams lose the teams that they should beat all the time. The great teams are the ones who don't lose the teams that they're supposed to beat. They take advantage of, care of business against the teams they're supposed to beat, and then they play like 500 against the teams that are tough, and that's how you end up with the 50-plus win record. That's how it goes. So I reject the notion that anyone should feel any different about this team because of who they've played. With that said, the reason why I'm bringing that up, with that said, for people who feel that way, you'll get your test tomorrow. I'm recording this the night of the game the Pistons just played against the Pacers, so on the 17th. On the 18th, which is the following day, you guys will be listening to this, on Tuesday, the Pistons are going to be going against the Atlanta Hawks. This will be a big-time test. You want to talk about wanting to see this team tested? You want to talk about what they look like against a really good team? You want to talk about what they look like against quality players? A team that rivals them? They're getting one tomorrow. I don't know if people have been noticing, but the Atlanta Hawks, I believe, have won 9 of their last 10 games. Or, what is it? 8 of their last 10 games, I believe. No, it's 9. Yeah, I'm right. I was right about that. 9 of their last 10 games. Jalen Johnson of the Hawks was just named Player of the Week. He averaged 24 points, 12 rebounds, and 9 assists this past week. The Hawks have now won 5 in a row. And over these 10 games, without Trae Young, they were without Trae Young, which that's a whole different conversation for a different day. You guys want to find that out, go check out Brad at Locked On Hawks. I'm sure he's having a great time. The Hawks have the number 2 ranked defense over the last 10 games. You want to know who's number 3 and 4? Or number 3 or 4? The Detroit Pistons. So over this same stretch, you are going to see tomorrow the Pistons go against a team that is playing just as hot as them, that has just as good of a defense as them, who has young, up-and-coming prospects, young and up-and-coming players just like them, and have high expectations for the season just like them. You want to test? You want to see how they look like against a team of their caliber? You're going to get that answer here. You will get that answer in less than 24 hours here. Because the Atlanta Hawks look really, really good. They are playing really, really good. And this is a team before the year a lot of people were very high on with the talent. Trae Young gets hurt. People thought, okay, maybe it's going to be a struggle. No, they've actually played extremely well without Trae Young. And again, like I said, I'm not here to dive into that. But nonetheless, that's who they are right now. So, if the Pistons, I'll say this, if the Pistons are going to win, one, and if people are going to take it as a true test, the Pistons need their guys back. If the Pistons don't have their guys back tomorrow and they lose, I am not looking at that as a true test, and I'm not looking at it as, oh, well, there you go, this team wasn't real this whole time. The fact that they've been able to hold off these worst of teams, worst of competition, with who they have on the floor has been amazing nonetheless. To expect them to then go out against a team that's just as high as them with the majority of their roster healthy outside of Trae, with two-way guys, second-round picks, and missing three of your top 5 players, it's just going to be unrealistic. So the Pistons need their guys to come back tomorrow. And I think they will be back. I think that's why Cade and Ausar both missed this game. I think it was because of the back end of a back-to-back. They felt like the Hawks game was more important. Let's bring them back against the Hawks. So I think they both will play tomorrow. Play tonight, whenever you're listening to this. So if the Pistons players do play, if Cade plays and Ausar plays and JD's still around and still playing and Isaiah's, all these, and there's not a mystery report, injury report that comes up, then I think this will be an amazing game to watch. I'm very excited to watch this game. I think it's going to be a big time test for the Detroit Pistons. And like I said, everyone out there that wants to find out if they can do it, and if this is real, this is your first test. This is your first test. Do I think they can do it? Absolutely. Like I said in the last episode, their defense is not fluky. How they're playing defensively is not a fluke. The way they're dominating the paint is not a fluke. This team plays their identity. Does that mean they're going to win every single game? No. But when you have an identity and you're dominant in that identity, that tells me everything you're doing is real and you have a chance night in and night out. So yes, I think they can reach 11. They need Cade back. They need Ausar back. If they do get those guys back, I think the Pistons can win tomorrow. And if they do win tomorrow, we are going to be talking about the Detroit, or tonight, whenever you guys listen to this. I hate recording end-of-night episodes. Anyways, if the Pistons do win, you'll be talking about a team that has won 11 straight games. Cade missing 3 games. Ausar missing 4 games. JD, I think, missing 3 or 4 games himself. Stu missing 4 games. Tobias missing 8 of them. And they would be on an 11-game win streak with all of those injuries during that streak. It'd be one of the most impressive feats that we've seen in the NBA in quite a minute. So, we'll see what happens tomorrow, tonight, Tuesday night, against the Atlanta Hawks. It's going to be a big-time game. I think it's going to be a fun game. A really, really fun game against 2 teams who are playing extremely well. It will be at Atlanta. But I think the Pistons can and should win this game. It should be a fun game nonetheless. Let me know. Comment section down below or over on Twitter at Khahil. Do you guys believe the Pistons will win and extend this winning streak to 11 against the Atlanta Hawks? But that's all I've got for you guys today. Thank you guys for making Locked On Pistons your first listen of every single day. Free and available on all your podcast platforms. Hit that subscribe button to the YouTube channel. Leave us a 5-star review, whatever podcast platform you're listening to this on. And until next time, I will see you guys later. Stay safe out there, and peace out, everybody.